Hi, I'm Mark Parfitt, and I use Pro Tools to record Attention by Omale featuring Justin Bieber.
Show me a little attention, a little bit tender.
I got started by being a musician first, recording my friends, and I ended up loving the process so much I went to college for audio engineering, which helped me get into professional studios. My big break moment would be working for a songwriter, Pooh Bear, where I was his full-time engineer and I managed the facility for his publishing company. And on the day-to-day, I oversaw his studio build and helped tailor the studio to his needs, as well as some of my personal preference. Working with Pooh Bear kind of set me up for the next phase of my career. I got really used to switching things around quickly and adapting to new workflows and just being so spontaneous. And a lot of the work I do with Justin Bieber and other artists is very similar because we're flying somewhere, setting up a makeshift studio in like an Airbnb or a bus or a rehearsal hall, or arenas sometimes, whatever. It's really wherever they happen to be, whatever makes sense for the situation. Over the years, I built and refined a mobile rig that's kind of the centerpiece of my process. And it really changes depending on the intensity of the job and level of talent. A more high intensity rig, if I'm gonna be doing like an Airbnb situation or something where I really need to put up a whole studio, I'll typically bring my Mac Studio, PMC Result 6s, Lynx Aurora N that's kind of customized with all these options with preamps and TRS outputs, Hazelrig VLC, Hazelrig Industries VNE, 4-channel John Hardy M1 and a Manley Ref C, along with like a Pelican 1510 full of just accessories like cables, adapters, headphones, cue boxes, and odds and ends like that. And a lower intensity gig, I'll more bring just a backpack with a Mac Pro, a Lewitt Connect 6 for the interface, and a John Hardy personal preamp, along with that same Pelican 1510 that has just all the cables, adapters, headphones, all the boring stuff, but that's necessary. So at the same time I met Pooh Bear, I also met a producer and songwriter named Harv. Harv's Justin Bieber's musical director, and he produces and writes for just a ton of other artists. Harv's really fun to work with because he's one of those people who can come in with a completely blank canvas and just have you a whole song going in like minutes. We've worked together on stuff for Justin Bieber, and he pulls me into projects that he's working on all the time. One day Harv hit me up and said he was working with this artist Omale and wanted to have me come through to the studio. There's no plans or concepts and anything in place. It's just kind of like, let's see, this is a cool artist and I think it could be a great match. That day, Harv and Omale came up with Attention just as one of the ideas that, they had 2 or 3, but that was the one that they gravitated to. And all they had, it was all from a murmur from a little Attention line in a melody. And it's fun working with Harv because he just bounces around from instrument to instrument and you get to watch a song just take shape in real time and it looks so effortless. But it's also challenging because he works really quickly and it's my job to capture the ideas before they're gone and move on to the next thing or lose attention. Engineers now more than ever are the pen and paper for artists and songwriters. And being quick and organized with Pro Tools helps you manage the ideas that get laid down so you can just make their song come to life without friction. I often use folder tracks, playlisting, and automation lanes to manage a quick workflow and get a good rough mix by the end of the recording. And it's oftentimes artists are doing this on the fly, so while they're cutting one line, I'll keep all the playlists of all their prior ones as far as anything that they've done and in a separate playlist of things that are all the great things that they want to maybe refer back to later. And while they're cutting each line, I'll be using my automation lanes to draw on automation to get different various throws. So the mix is kind of coming to life by every time they get to the next line. The previous one has been kind of mixed in a way, along with just doing your general balancing and bus effects as far as compression and EQ and all that basic stuff. But to get all of the lively moments, I use all those things to, kind of nudge along as the song gets done. So by the end of that session, we pretty much had Attention written as you hear it today, except we wanted to have another artist featured on it and weren't really sure who that was going to be. And it, sat on it for a couple days. Harv and I both work with Justin, and Harv just figured it might make sense just for him to jump on it. And he sent him the track, he liked it, and not long after we had a session at Henson one day, and he's like, hey Mark, can you pull up that Attention track and let's do that one today. And went in, knocked it out, maybe like 30 minutes or so, and that's what ended up being what's on the record. And that's how a lot of pop tracks work. Some are put together in a day or a couple hours, and others might take weeks, months, or even longer to kind of just come together. My advice for getting started as an engineer is to collaborate as much as you can with the people that are in your reach, but also do your best to surround yourself with people that are just better than you, most importantly. Because you can only push yourself so far when you're by yourself and with a bunch of YouTube tutorials. You gotta, get in there and get the experience and be under the fire to like really learn. I think you really need to find like a big, nice studio, a good producer, a songwriter, just mentors overall, because that's how you're gonna learn the most and get, the most out of your time, and seeing someone that's already been through all the trials to, so you can avoid all those same things and just see what's right and know to follow that path. Something I love about Pro Tools is the use of folder tracks. It really helps when you're recording to have just a pool of things that you can just, pull from quickly and not have to be assigning outputs and inputs and coloring and all these things that just help keep your navigation. Because I think of a template as like, this is a roadmap, and it's just gonna help me know where I'm going by having all the right colors, so I can just at a glance look at the session and know where I'm at without even having to like press play or look at a marker or anything. So one thing I love, I have this folder here. So if there's a situation that comes up where I need to record drums, I can just go to my drum folder. I have dedicated record tracks already sending to my drum bus, which are following into my mix bus, and so on and so forth. So all of that's thoughts just taken out. All I have to do is just assign an input and keep my day going. And it's the same if we have bass that we need to record, boom, we have some bass tracks dedicated for record and some dedicated for playback. So we can just I like to drag and drop as I go. And same if there's any of these situations that I've come multiple times, guitar, acoustic, electric, horn, strings, whatever, anything that happens consistently, I try to just have dedicated in there, so it's not taking up any space. It's in the folder and kind of hidden away. So just pull from it, bring it into my record session, make it live, and just assign the input and get going. What I love about Pro Tools is the use of automation lanes while recording, and it helps me get to a rough mix by the end of the session, as and kind of bring lively moments as the song's coming alive. And it'll help influence the way the writer or the artist works, that might inspire them more or take them to another direction, or not too, but if you do it tastefully, it can help elevate the song. So oftentimes, this is a song that I've recorded, and I know the way that this songwriter works is he does everything bar by bar, and that's how a lot of artists and like rappers and stuff for sure like to just focus on bar by bar and just build it like a house, brick by brick. So I have my record track here, and I did record all this, and you can see I have automation lanes going, and I had done this process throughout the song. So let's go start from 0 here, delete all of that, and we don't have our song here. So I would typically start maybe like a bar before, wherever they're at. Press record, okay, making noise, haha, coming up with the song, cool, I got the bar. Press record again, let's drag that down, let's, edit all of this. They hear their bar, they like that, that's cool, okay, cool. Let's go to the next line, and then I know like, oh, maybe it needs a little quarter note delay. So at the end of that, we can just kind of draw some automation and kind of just dial it in, finesse it however it needs to be. Go to the next line, cool, they like that part. Let's bring that down. We can playlist all that. Go to the next one, making noise, cool, they like that. Let's drag it down. Oh, while it's playing, they can hear everything back. We can just copy some of this automation down, or let's say they want to do a little reverb, throw on that line, cool. Making noise, they got their other bar, cool. Let's drag it down, bring it in, and so on and so forth. And you can see how can literally just build it as long as it goes. And sometimes you'll have more time. It's not like they just are coming up with line like just like that. Some people work that way, but oftentimes you'll have like a little bit more time, so you can kind of, while the playback is going, you can draw in your automation and make the mix come alive, as well as just doing all of your regular, compression, EQ, de-essing, and just basic things to get the tone and the foundation like sounding cool.